Good morning, all. Today we will see the last topic left over in virtualization of the resources, that is a multi-core processors. And later on we will see what is the cluster and how we are using the virtual clusters. What are the importance of these virtual clusters over physical clusters, and also we will see how these performance and then migrations will be taken into an account when a system crash has been occurred. So first we will cover the leftovers topic, that is the multi-core process. In this we will see what is a multi-core process. So first if you see the things, that is a processor is specified. So a process may have many cores. If you do, for example, if you are using any laptop or any device, it is having multi processors into an account. Why? Because to make the performance and an efficiency in a manner, what you have to do is nothing but we need to make the process to be done in a parallel way. So that's why what we are doing in our processors, we are adding the cores to that one. In previous sessions also, we have seen many cores, multi-cores, and then next parallel processing. The graphical processing computing is there, GPC, and then GPU is also using, where the example CUDA is there, and we have also covered vCUDA. So, and also we are maintaining the things uh, like how we are going to specify these cores into your system process, like that we cover. So first what you have to do, what are the challenges in traditional computing has to be seen here. When you are executing your computers, or when you are computing, what you have to do is nothing but we need to see whether you are using a system that is a fully parallelized or not. So all the programs what you are using must be parallelized, which are being used between these cores in a fully manner. Means we are partially parallelizing or partially specifying, it's not the specified one. And the another one is any explicit task is assigned to the course is not has to be seen by the users. So why we need to consider all these things means, when you are allocating a program, when you are assigning a program to your computer, it must know that whether it is means maybe it is capable of executing this one or not. And also it has to a concept of that is a character called heterogeneity. Heterogeneity means it should be means diverse in any the content what you are using, or any things what you are specifying will be in a manner such that it changes by the time what you are using, or the times what you are specifying. So this is the example what you are using. Here we have the physical cores. The physical cores are represented as a chip C0, C1 and C2. And then we are using the virtual cores also, or virtual procedures, which are specified as a V0, V1 and V2, V3. What they are doing is they are executing the programs in a thread manner. So if you see, we are specified as a threads here. So what the technology, what they are providing, what their technique they are following is, all these things has to be executed in a multi-threading concept. So because we need to take into an account that each and every program has to execute this one. So if you want to execute a thread, it will execute on its that is code or data on its own. If you want to pause any thread, you can pause its processing like this. And and what you are doing is you are having only three cores are representing as a physical cores, but you are having the four virtual cores here. So each and every core is handling one of that one, that is virtual. But V0 is sorry, C1 is handling V0's data. C0 is having V1's data, and C2 is handling V3's data. While executing all these things, one is left over, that is the V2. So what this V2 will do is it has to pass its execution until these things, that is V0, V1, V3 execution has to be completed. How it is going to do here is, it is following the ISA. ISA means instruction set architecture level virtualization. There you saw that what are the instructions it is has to be executed. Means we need to identify the source instructions, and we need to get the target instructions to be executed there. So that's why what you have to do is nothing but first we have to see what is the software is having, how many threads or the how many cores it is having, and the what are the physical cores in your chip as installed. So if you are not having enough that is physical cores, what it has to do is it needs to pause the many things, or it has to be paused, because here you are having only one thing that is has to be paused at this current time, because there is no space to allocate a processor to execute the things that is it is having v2 is having. So that's why what it is doing is it has to be, yeah, it is has to be paused for this particular amount of time, and it will execute it by the another c0 or c1 or c2 when it is free. After that, we will see this the diagram. This diagram is representing a virtualization concept in which we are, what you are seeing is that is the hierarchy what you are using, virtual hierarchy. So what this virtual hierarchy represents in this diagram, we are seeing the mapping of virtual machines into the adjacent cores. So these are the things what you are using, means they are differentiated. Differentiated why? Because we are using differentiated here is they are represented as a different things, means this is formed as a one cluster, and then next this is formed as a one cluster, and this is one, because they are having the common behavior, they will be set as a one group. So if you see one node or one representation here, what it will be here is it is having the two cache spaces L1 and L2, and then next it is having its own processor to execute. Although it is also maintaining some virtual machines here, here underneath we are seeing what it is processing here is it is maintaining a database, and then web server, and then what you are using a database also is there, middleware also providing, and then next from v4 to v5 v6 v7 are being used as a middleware here. And then if you represent v1 the vm1 and then vm2, it is using the web server here. How come we are specifying that is a VM1 and then VM2 here here represented here is we are just naming them to be possible to execute all these things here. So for example, how they are going to execute, how they are going to share the workload here is this is your structure. This structure will be formed, or this structure will be executed like this. So first we need to see what is the major hierarchy. The major hierarchy will be, or the first, the means the base hierarchy will be specified as a parent, or you can do as the level 2. And then next at the level 1, we will have the clusters we need to process here. So what are the clusters we need to process has to be taken from these things, and we need to process them here. So if you see previous diagram, so these are all means having the same color representation. So same color representations means they are having the same behavior. So that's why these things are forming the same clusters here. So these clusters are taken as the execution of your processing, and some may have the many cores, and some may have the different cores, or some may have only single core to execute here. So here what we are providing here is we are providing a that is a space sharing technology which is being used in a single operating system only. And also it is providing the mapping also to the virtual pages to the physical frames what you are using, and provides the hypervisor to access these data what it is stored in these that is clusters what you are having. In this logical view, this is the logical view, and the above one is the mapping view. In this logical view, what we will do, so we have to maintain a two-level hierarchy. This first level of the hierarchy is has the isolated one, because it has to maintain the different one, and the different means we are having how many clusters, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So vm not to vm8. So what it is representing here, vm not to vm8, vm not is used as the, if you see this is the vm not, it is a database, and vm1 and the vm2 are represented as a web servers, and the VM3 is taken as the database. Like that we have been divided. So these 8 representations has the isolated behavior, and they won't depend upon the other one also, because they have its own processor, they have its own memory space to store their that is data which has been means downloaded, which has been cut when computing your workloads. And also the shared resources what you are using has to be handled carefully, because we need to give the mapping techniques what you are providing. So this type of the workloads what you are using will support what the environments, that is a question. So here this environment will support multi-programming, and you can see that is a server consolidation will be there. The server consolidation are considered as the multi-programming environment. So here we are providing an environment which is sharing the space between the others, and also providing the architecture as a tiled architecture also. So that's about the course what you are using, because why they are representing as a course means the processor is specified, it has to process how it is going to process means it needs its own memory space. We are giving its own memory space here. If you see L1 and L2 cache here, it is providing the memory space. How it is going to process all these things will be questioned there. Means if you are not providing a processor to execute a program, how it is going to handle. That's why for each and every core what we are doing, we are allocating a process and we are giving them to be handled here. How it come it achieve this one here is, so we are providing a threading concept also, and we are taking the multi course, physical course to be represented here also. Like that we are presenting in this thing. So after that we will see clusters. So here, before going to that is a clusters, we will see what is a physical cluster, and then next what is a virtual cluster. So here the physical cluster is represented as a collection of the servers here, and then servers are not the virtual imaginary one. What they has to be installed, they have to be really placed on a means working area. And also they has to use a network connection such as LAN or SAN, any type of, or NAS also, any type of the network which is suitable for your environment will be chosen for your installations of the server. So by that what it is doing is it is forming a that is a structure that is called as a physical cluster. And while coming to the virtual cluster, what we are doing is we are maintaining or we are forming these things by using the virtual machines. So we are taking these virtual machines to be formed by these virtual clusters by the help of the distributed servers, which are being taken from the one or more physical clusters here. Means they have the help of these physical clusters, but they are indirectly using this thing to form the virtual clusters here. So here, how we are going to provide the data is, it should be connected to a network. So how they are connected, it is interconnected, and it is the thing what we are using is a logical. So here we are providing a virtual network for accessing the data what you are choosing, and also we are using some physical networks also. How this will occur and how this will means help you to process here is, so there is a concept called overlay network. Means we are using the peer-to-peer network. In the previous sessions we have the networks what you are using there. So in that I discussed about the peer-to-peer networks. Whenever you are using the peer-to-peer networks, what it is doing, it is creating a network on that one. That is a overlaying a network there. So what's the overlay network will do? It will take the that is any network as a node, means as a parent or anything as a initiation, and it will try to form a network connection, and it allows the user or allows the organization to add into one network. So what is the difference between these overlay network and the peer-to-peer physical network is, so there should be some rules. So what is the peer-to-peer network says here is, yeah, we can easily add into that system and can easily leave that network system whenever you need. Means there is no any restriction to stay into that system or to stay in that network continuously. So if any user or any organization wants to leave that network, it will be easy to leave. But when you are dealing with this overlay network, it's not that easy, because when you are going to add, you have to look after the rules, and you need to make an agreement, and then you just after that you will add it to that network. So what will be the rules there? So if you are having any connection, good connection or not, that one, you want to stay for a long time or not, like that it will ask anything. So no, that it won't allow an user to leave the system or to leave that network as his wish or her wish. So they have to follow the things what it has been designed for your system. So that type of the networks will be used in the virtual net environment here. So if you see, this diagram is a cloud platform which is using the 4 virtual clusters, which is having 3 physical clusters there. Likewise, V0, V1, V2, V3 is there. Likewise, we are mentioning V1, V2, V3, V4 as the virtual clusters, and it is also having some physical clusters C0, C1, C2 in the previous example. We are using physical cluster 1, physical cluster 2, and then physical cluster 3 here. So this is the diagram. First, we need to see whether what are the boundaries of accessing or the things we need to consider. Means how we are going to take the, what are the properties need to consider when interacting with all these things. So if the clusters what you are using in that is in a physical machine or the virtual machine, what it has to do is nothing but we need to know where these clusters can place. Means we can place these clusters, virtual clusters, maybe on the physical machine or also on the virtual machine. Virtual machine means we need to create a virtual environment by using the Oracle VM Manager or any other, that is Microsoft or any other that is software which is allowing to take the means virtualization into specification has to be installed into your computer, and there you come to access a virtual environment. So when you are coming to access a virtual environment, that is the virtual machines will be in an account. So when, if you see, the virtual machines will have the guest operating system, because if you are having the Microsoft if you are having the XP and you want to get the Linux, the virtual machine has to give the that is the guest operating system as a Linux. So that's why you install the virtual machine there. So we need to take the virtual machine, how it is runs on the guest operating system. So if there, what is the thing has to be specified while running on the guest operating system means it need to manage the resources what you are having in this physical machine, and also we need to take care of these devices what you are using. So if you are not taking care of all these things and simply you are sitting and trying to access the resources of the physical machine means it is not the allowable one, because we need to know whether these things, that is the resources or the memory spaces or anything are ready or not, we need to know. If it is not like that, likewise they have to wait for a time to for that one, because in this previous example what the V2 is doing, it is pause it for a particular amount of the time. Why it is paused means we have only 3 physical clusters, three physical cores here, and we are maintaining 4 virtual cluster virtual cores there. So what you are doing is these 3 won't able to execute the 4 at a time. So that's why one thing has to be wait for that one. So likewise, what you have to do is nothing but while coming to the cluster also, we need to see whether what is executing, what it is forming, like that we need to see. So before going to the execution, what it has to do is nothing but what are the clusters is having has to be plotted. Means how many machines or the how many nodes it is having, it has to be plotted. In this example, we are using 3 different clusters, which are the physical one. 3 different colors has been used. One is a blue, green, and then next another is some blue type has been used. And we are dividing these things. Each and every system is having the 10 different systems it is executing. But these 10 different, that is the physical clusters, are not being executed on the same virtual platform. If you see, these 2 has been used by the virtual cluster here, 1. And these 2 and these 2 are has been used like this. So these are not completely used by the only one virtual cluster here. These has been divided and means they are using these nodes for execution. If you come for this part, So these the remaining systems which is having the 6 systems of the physical cluster 1 is trying to execute it by the third cluster, which is the virtual one. And you go for this one, it is being executed by the fourth one. And here we are using the virtual cluster 2, and it is executing only the 3 systems from the third physical cluster, and the remaining 3 will be remain as a ideal because they has been not involved in the computation. Likewise, it is saying that, so before you are executing, that is virtualization you are giving, it is not that we have to allow the physical clusters area to only one virtual cluster. You may allow many virtual cluster to take these considerations to be happen. So if you want to access this one also, the virtual 4 will have the capability of executing, that is the physical cluster 3 also. And it allows an user to take the benefits of executing and also take the profits handling all these things over this cluster. So if you having this type of processing, what it is doing is there is crashing will be low, and then if the performance will be high. And also we have seen some representations here, that is how they are created or how they are formed has to be specified. So these physical clusters what we are using will be specified as the host machines. And what are these things has been means using in yellow, and these colors will be specified as the guest operating systems in this area. Means it is used in this all the systems in this point of view will be specified as the host system. And if you are considering for the virtualization, these virtual machines were taken into the guest operating systems or the guest systems into an account. So if you represent all these things, we need to consider some properties to be taken while in consideration. What are the properties we need to consider here is, so likewise I said, they can be on the physical or the virtual machines, or whereas they can run on the any that is any physical node. No, means they can be deployed. They can be deployed here because it is not been restricted that only one virtual cloud will use the one physical machines one. So like that it was specifying. And also what it is specifying here is, we need to take the functionalities and then provide these things to be consolidated between multiple virtual machines here. So likewise you see the physical cluster one what you are using is not dedicated to the one virtual cluster. It is allowing to take the benefits of this cluster to the virtual cluster 1 and also virtual cluster 3. So that's why what it is taking, what it is representing is, it is not to be done or not to be restricted to the one area only. And also it is allowing the colonized representation is there. What it is replication. So how it is performing and how it is giving here is, we need to take the distributed environment and then next disaster recovery has to be given there. No? So that's why what it is doing, it is has to maintain the replica. We need to take the clones of here. So how we are taking the clones into an account representation series, we need to maintain the same servers or the same things as a copy. And also we need to maintain the resources and then the distributed things on this environment, because anything will be occur when means any failure has been occurred. What we need to do, we need to maintain all these things to be happen. Because if you see here, any failure has been occurred to this system, means where I pointed. So if any failure has been occurred to the system, it won't affect the systems which has been used in this virtual cluster and also in the another cluster also, because it needs to be isolated. Yeah, there is no need to affect these things. So the fault tolerance means any component or any node which has been that is stopped or executing, or any failure has been faced, it won't have the effect to process all these things also. For example, it has been crashed. What it will do is, this will take the execution of this nodes or these things into the another one, that is this node or this node or this node, because it need to migrate itself into the another node and also try to execute into the another one. So if you want to change the virtual cluster also, there may be possible to change the virtual cluster, because sometimes the virtual cluster one executed which has been crashed, then we need to allow an environment which has to be processed to gain the that is execution to be done in a smooth manner has to be performed there. If you say this one is the that is virtual cluster, which is application, our partitioning has been occurred, means it is working on the same monitor, and we are taking different virtual machines has been occurred on the same application. So here, see here, application A is denoted as this color, and then B is this one, C is this one, and then D is this one. If you see, so these are the different colors we are taken. So these are the different applications. So how many applications are here? We are having 4 applications, and we are having 4 individual virtual machines also. How many virtual machines or hypervisors are using these things to be happen here is, we are taking different virtual environments into an account. They are connected to a system area network. We are taking the that is the storage area into an account, the sharing, and also providing an environment to handle this one on different things. That is, different hypervisors are working on this thing. So here in this example, we are providing such type of processing. So the clusters what you are using means the different colors what you are representing are the different nodes of these virtual clusters. So VM1, where you are seeing VM1, the VM1 will be represented in an yellow color only. So that is the working of that one. So before going to working on the application, we need to specify a virtual machine image. Because if you are giving application to be run on your environment, it is not simply done. What you have to do, if you are taking a virtual machine into an account for computation, first we need to see whether this environment is suitable to your environment or not. So that's why what you have to do, we need to take virtual images into an account. After that, what it is doing, it will process this one. So if you see in this examples, VM4 is not present in 2 different representations, because the image what you are using is not suitable for this one, maybe replicated here. So if you want to if you want to install anything or any library files, any software packages, all these things has to be pre-installed. Because if you are not presenting all these things in your template, that is in your virtual, that is single system image, the user may not know what you are for. What you are for means what you will perform. How come it will know? By seeing your system image, means what is your processor, what is the speed of your processor, what are the virtual environments you are supporting, and what are the what is the virtual machine you are supporting, and also you will take into account what is the memory spaces you are using, what are the remaining things, any disk arrays or there, any partitionings will be there. All these things has to be replicated on your system image. Means we need to take the pre-installations, all these things into an account, and we need to replicate all these things on your image. This virtual machine will support all these things like that. Will call by these templates only. What the users will do, they will come to know that okay, this virtual machine will have these features, and it is able to execute all these things like that. It is specifying. And also we have the another representations like we can take these things to be installed on the virtual, that is a remote server environment also, by taking same or the different physical structures, and we can specify the boundary also to the virtual clusters to where it can handle. Means in previous example you have seen, so the virtual cluster one boundary is it is able to access the first 4 elements or the first 4 only, like this here, and this is also it is handling 4. Means there is a boundary of accessing the virtual cluster, because these 4 systems will have only the same behavior, which is imparting these virtual cluster 1 and a virtual cluster 3. Means combinedly, if you see, the virtual cluster 1 and virtual cluster 3 behavior is important imparted in these physical cluster 1. When you see individually, these 4 are supported by this cluster 1, and these the remaining 6 are supported by this they are alike, they have the alike behavior when you are dealing with this virtual cluster 3. So after that, we have the deployment. Why we need to deploy your program, or we need to things means, if you want to take these clusters into an account, so before going to execute all these things, what you have to do, we need to pre-install all your things. So to pre-install all your things, what you have to do is nothing but we need to know what are the operating systems, what are the libraries, and what are the applications to be used by you we have to give this information to the physical node, because what it has to, why we need to give the physical node means, if you are providing an information about your system, then it will be easy to form a cluster. If you are not providing these information to your cluster or any node, what it is doing is it won't allow you to access, because they may not think that you are suitable to that environment. So for that, what it has to take, we need to take the template to be formed. So for that, we need to construct and distribute these software stacks to these physical node. What it has to do is nothing but we need to specify this system is for this purpose, has to be specified. And also there should be a possibility of switching, the switching runtime. Why we need to switch the runtime means, there could be a possibility of crashing, system crashing will be there, or some process has been suspended, or some process has been paused for a amount of the time. What we need to do here is, we need to perform, or we need to take into an account that these to be done in a specific way. Means we are simply allowing the system, we are executing, means it's not it's not the thing. If the system has been failed during the execution, who will take care of all these things has to be considered. How you will come to know how these things has to be specified. If you are not done by this way, what it do is nothing but the processes what you are executing may lose its computing. So to overcome all these things, what we have to do, we need to migrate that one. So to migrate that one, quickly switching the runtime environments has to be provided. And also the runtime environments, what you have chosen from the virtual cluster to another virtual cluster, has to be done in a quick procedure. These the things has to be specified. This will be occurred, or this will be done by the term called green computing. So here, this methodology, what you are doing is, it is providing a eco-friendly usage of the computers and their resources here. So how it is going to specify here is, it is reducing the environment impact on these, what are the devices we are doing. Means what will be the environment impact here, means we are using the resources, means servers, and then data centers, all these are we are using. So when you are trying to use this much of the thing, what the environment means around you will be, means like that the power consumption, and then next you are providing some spaces like that, all this you are purchasing, all these things you have to provide the environment like that. So by using this type of, means any servers or like that, what we are doing, we are affecting our environment here. So by using this green computing, what it is doing is, it will take only the necessary power only to process, and also take these things to be done. Means it will take the homogeneous workstations to be done, or the homogeneous workstations to be processed. Means like any other things are not working, means it simply make it shut down, or make it some pause for a particular time. Means if it is not working on anything, you are simply power consuming, and you are providing and cooling environment, and all these things will be a waste of time and energy. So to overcome these things, what it is doing is, we need to take the implantation of, whether you are supporting these reducing the power consumption or not, we have to specify. Like this green computing will help you to take these energy cost of components will be low when you are means thinking on the saving your that is energy, time, or the money, like that it is specified. So next one, the high performance. How we are getting the high performance here is, simply there is a concept called we need to take these steps, that is we need to maintain the template here. Template you are preparing, template you are using. What it is performing here is, the templating what you are using will lead you to take whether these things what you are using will suitable to your application or not. And then next, what you are providing here is we are also taking customized software packages also. So we are not taking another thing, another representations into an account. We are pre-installing installing all these things here. By pre-installing all these things, there could be no time waste. Time waste will be there. So software package you are taking, you are not installing the software. Software package you are taking means you are including all these things into, means many runtime environments will be into your account here. It means cluster. In this cluster means it has the same behavior. But having the same behavior means each and every system will have the same applications of the same software. It's not the important one. So if you are using 10 nodes, different nodes in your cluster means the 10 different nodes will have the 10 different environments, different softwares will have. So if you are using 10 different clusters for your, means in the previous example, you have seen virtual cluster 3 is using 6 different systems there. In 6 different systems, what you are having, 6 different softwares will be there, different applications will be providing there, and also it will use different operating systems also, like that. Means you are having software packages to process. No need to install all these things. So if you are not having that software environment to execute, means what it is doing, you can switch into the another environment, and then there is no process of all these things to be done. So they means you're going for searching the software what you are needing, and you are providing all these things. It's not needy here. So what it is doing, it is allowing an user to reduce the time of the customization here. So how it is going to reduce all these things, because you are having the access of 6 different systems. So what these 6 different systems will do here is, it will able to access, or it will able to provide the data to be done by your way. Means also providing that different profiles are there, and also data blocks will be there. And all these methods what you are using will increase the performance here. So what could be an example for this environment here is the Dropbox. So you are taking this this thing into one. So if you, I said the steps are there to process one. So what are the steps to deploy a group of virtual machines into a target cluster? Means we need to prepare a disk image. Means we need to prepare a that is a single system image there. So after preparing a single system image, what we are doing, we need to configure the virtual machines. After configuration of this virtual machines, we need to take the destinations nodes here. Means not all those things will not to be added here. So what we are doing, we need to add the destination nodes here. So the destination nodes what you are choosing for this cluster has to be specified. Later that what you have to do here is, later that what we are doing here is, we need to deploy the this one into your virtual machine. Means not easily we are doing here. What it has to do is nothing but we need to take the templates into an account. The templates, what are the templates means, what are the operating systems it has been chosen, and what are the softwares it has been installed, and what are the things it is also providing. And there is a concept also called, there is a copy on write is there. So we need to maintain a copy on write method. Means the template what you are choosing has to take the copy on write method, which is called as a COW that is format. So what is this one, COW? So what is the what it plays an importance in the operating system or in virtual environment or anything here is, so when you are dealing with the shared environment, so if you are choosing parent class and then any that is a child class, or if you are using parent process or the child process want to execute. So you know the concept of the process creation in Unix. So you have seen whenever your child process has been created, the parent process will pause for some time and it try to execute that one. Whenever it has been executed, means it has to specify exit command, then the parent process has to come into an account. So that is the process of execution. While coming into the execution, the process what you are created by the parent will has to give the new process ID only. Means all the things, that is the memory space, the program what you are using will be the same only. Means it is having the concept called, it is using shared memory concept, because they are accessing shared memory. Whenever you are using the shared memory, means a file has been, you have gone through this situation also, where we file when you share a file on your network, somebody means unknowingly delete that thing. So unknowingly delete that thing means what it is happening there, it is allowing the other persons to not take this file available also. Means any change that has been applied to that one, means any user, means not only the main user. If you are having 10 users, any user has been changed or modified or altered this thing, the remaining 9 users has to be affected by this.
because you want to download that file, but somebody has been deleted in not intentionally, that has been done. So what it will do, so there the lossage of the loss of the file will occur. So how will you overcome this thing? So what you will do is you need to ask that person, the person who has been shared this file on the network has to share this file again and again. If this is the lost copy, if the file what it is shared is the lost copy, then you will have to face the problem there, because the copy of the file has been deleted and there is no another such file to download that thing. What it will do, so it will make the other persons to take this unavailable here. To overcome this one, what it is doing is it is taking an environment that is called as the copy on write. So here we are taking the shared file environment. So shared file environment or the shared memory environment, we are simply going to your memory space, you are writing that one, means it's not the initiated one. So we have to raise a request write off. Means whenever you have to take this, when you have write a file or when you are writing to a text file or anything, you need to place in or something that is file in, or the you have to take this write of f1 or write of the file name, or these things you have to give. Whenever a person, means a child process or any parent process or any person wants to write into a memory place which is the shared one, what it will do here is whenever it is trying to write, it will try means it will copy the things what it is before one, because you are modifying your file. The modification is not useful for me, means that is useful for you, but the modification not useful for me. And we are all in a environment which is the shared one. So if any changes will occur, what it is doing has to be done in the shared environment only, and there is no any particular other environment. So how it come happen? My data has to stay there itself only, and your data has to be modified. So that's why what it is doing, whenever it is saying a this template is it has a concept called copy on write. Whenever you are having the right concept or the right request, it will try to take these that file, that the memory space data what you are using, means for example a is equals to 7 and you are changing it to a is equals to 10. This a is equals to 7 will be taken into the new space and it is stored into that space. A is equals to 7, what you are taking will be stored into that space. So that is a one concept. And the other one will be taken as means here is the shared memory concept, means anything will be done. So it will be specified that the original data will be stayed there, and what you are doing will be, means the modification will be placed in the another space. Means it is creating a new space for you to store your data. Means the data can be modified one or a already specified one. So we need to see into that one. So here the templates what you are taking, it is implementing copy on write. What is a copy on write? When you are going into the that is shared environment, what it is doing, it is allowing the persons to change the data. When it is changing the data, the problem arises there. So what is the problem? The change has been, the altered has been useful for you, but it is not being useful for me. So what it has to do, it has to maintain 2 copies of the previous data and 1 copy of the updated data, that is modified data. So these things has to be done. So the thing what you have specified will be automatically specified or automatically done by the copy on write method. So that is for the, if you see in the operating system, virtual environment, or if you see anywhere, not only in the cloud, it is also in different operating system environments also. So here it will take the backup file. So here what it is doing, so this will take the backup file. How backup file means, before creating a modification, it will create a copy and will store in some way. And this, what is the backup copy you are creating, means it is not creating for all, for not the complete program, for where, for from which place you are writing. Means at which place you are writing, means you are writing only, you are changing which space, only a is equals to 10 is updating, you are not updating remaining things. So only the remaining things has to be means remain unchanged, only the altered has to be backed here. So that's why it is also have to see that whether you are following that is a copy on write method or not. So after that, we need to take into an account that how it is going to happen, means the destination is being specified or not, all these things came into an account. So after that, we have the migration. So all the time we have seen the migration, but how it is going to perform here is, so here is when you have to do, when you have to take the migration has to be there. When a virtual machine is failed, what you have to do is nothing but you have to replace it by the virtual machine on another node. So we need to take this environment into the another environment. To perform this thing, we need to perform several steps. Before going to thing, we need to consider what are the things we need to manage at this virtual cluster. So we are having the guest-based manager. So here the guest-based manager will be at the guest operating system side. And what is the example is the Xen hypervisor. And then next second one is the host-based manager. So the host-based manager will be reside at the host system. So here the example is the VMware high availability, and the other one is the independent cluster manager. So here it is being used by these both host and guest, and also it is taking these infrastructures to be complex, because by maintaining all these independent cluster means it's a very complex one. And the fourth one here is the integrated cluster manager. So here it is being maintained by the guest and host operating system. What it is doing is it is distinguishing the resources, what are the real resources and what are the virtual resources, what are the physical resources, what are the virtual resources has been specified. So migration, what are the migration steps here? Here we are having totally 5 migration steps here. So here these 5 migration steps we are combining one and first and step 0 and step 1, and yeah, at last we are also combining step 4 and step 5. So the first one, start migration. But before starting migration, we are simply starting a migration is not possible. So see, what is the migration means? I am working on a virtual machine. I am working on a virtual machine. But what it has been, I faced a problem and it is not completely work. It has been crashed. But my system, what it is doing is wants to execute, or the application has to be processed right itself there only. So what we need to do, we need to change the host there. Means my system has to be, will be host now. Means another system has to become host and has to execute my virtual machine. We are in a cluster environment, so we are connected to a network, then there will be no any problem. If you are not connected to a network, then will be a problem arises. We need to maintain a connection between them, then you have to process. So to migrate my total system into that virtual machine into the host B, we need to follow these steps. So these are the 5 steps. This is the diagram. Likewise, I said, simply we are going to migrate. It's not the possible one. First, we need to take the pre-migration into an account. So pre-migration means we need to take into account several steps. What it has to do? It has to take the migration into an account. So first, we need to initialize the migration. So these step 0 and step 1 are means combinedly specified as the that is start migration step. So here in this, we need to start for the migration. So first, we need to search for the destination host. So my virtual machine is active on the host A, but what it is doing, we need to take the alternate physical host here. So this alternate physical host must be pre-selected. Pre-selected means if any failure has been occurred, what it has to do is nothing but it has to transfer these things into the another one. Likewise, what it has to do, we need to specify a physical host which is the alternate one. So the alternate one has to be done, and we need to take free resources, and then next any devices which has been blocked. All these things we need to take on take into an account. So whenever has been done, the destination node has been found, we need to migrate this virtual machine to an appointed host. So for this, what you have to do, we need to take these load balancing, server consolidations, all these things to account. Because if you see next diagram, if you see, this is the execution of this one. if you see here, there is been load has been decreased here. So if you see, this is the SEMA here where I am pointing. There is no any processing here. Why it is not processing here is it is elapsing the time because we need to migrate here. Migrate here, like that it is processing. It has been stopped for this particular amount of the time. It has been degraded. Sorry, it has been decreased its throughput and also stopped the execution. Fall has been occurred here, and it is resumed the execution after migrating. So for that, all these things, what is the load balancing, server consolidations, all these things put into an account here. So for that, first we need to pre-migrate. So first we need to see what has to be done. After that, we need to initialize a target container on the target host. Container means the software, and then next software packages it has been used, the memory spaces it has been used, all these things has to be done here. After that, we need to go for the second step, which is the transferring the memory. The transferring the memory is again specified as the iterative pre-copy. There are the two phases or the two approaches, pre-copy and post-copy. In next slides we will see. So what is the pre-copy here is, what it will do. So first we need to take these shadow paging. Shadow paging means we need to take only the relevant one to your things, means only relevant pages, not the dirty pages into an account. First we need to take only the memory space which is required for you, not all the things which are not for your complete data has to be specified. This can be done by the iteration, means it will be taking as a loop wise. So how it is going to perform here is, first the execution state has to be stored in the memory space only na. So that's why what you need to do, we need to take these execution state has to be given to this host, that is the destination node here. So first we will take round wise, it will take. So here the memory data what it is taking, it will be considered as the given as dirty portions of the data, means it is taken first, it will take in the whole copy, and it will take these dirty pages or anything in successive rounds. First it will take the only the remain one, and the final copy what you are taking will be will be processed or will be given into that one here. Means only the things what you are using, what it is required for you will be copied first, and the other things will be copied next. That's why it is having a symbol iteration here. So first it will take the real shadow page table or anything into your account. After that, in successive rounds, in second round, third one, any other pages will be taken. Other pages means that dirty pages means the data which has not been classified or like that one. So we need to take these things into an account, that it has to be clean up and give the information which is useful for you. After that, we need to take care for the whether the taking, that is the data which has been copied to your or not, we need to see. Whenever you are reaching the last round, means you are having 5 rounds, whenever you are reaching the 5th round, what it is doing is it has to migrate the non-memory data resources here. So the non-memory data resources means the CPU, the network state, the processing states, the network states, and then next any application oriented data, what these things has to be transferred to the another one. Means we are simply transferring the things due to that one is not possible. That is, we need to transfer the ARPs and then next all these APIs to the host P. After that, what you have to do is nothing but we need to display the message, that is service unavailable, and it is mentioned as the downtime. Downtime here. If you see, this is the downtime representation. So whenever you have been, first the memory space will be copied. Memory pages will be, that is dirty pages, cleanup pages, or anything, the pages what you are will be useful for your processing will be copied to you. And later on what you will do, you will go for the next one, that is the processing states, any other things, softwares or anything what you are using will be copied to the another one and the next time. So when you have been copied all these things, the means the host operating system, which is the A, will suspend its virtual machine and stop the execution on that one. Whenever when the synchronization has been occurred, it will has to do, that is it has to perform that the state, the virtual machine state of this, the virtual machine what you are using has to be released by the host A. So here there is no host machine which is working on these host environment A, and it has to start from the B. So that's why we are taking the fifth step, that is the activation. So we have to start the virtual machine on the host B, and it has to connect to its local devices and has to resume its operation we are having. So if it is seen like this, it is executing 870 mbits per second. When here it has been the things what you are choosing here has been, the crash has been occurred. So and then you are performing the copy. First pre-copy has been occurred. So I'm taking the first pre-copy as a 62 seconds. After that, what you are taking, after your further iterations will be done. So the total taken seconds will be the 62 plus 9.8 further seconds has been taken. So the total allotted time what you are taking here is the 165 milliseconds will be total downtime. And also we are mentioning this has been, means here the system has been gained the process here, means at the 694 that is millimbit per second, what it is doing, it has been gained the that is the things memory spaces and then next network resources what it has been used here. And after that one, it has been executed, started executed again, and it has been reached the 870 mbit per second as usually. So before going to the migration, what it has to do is nothing but it has to take care of all these things. So we need to take the what the pre-copy has to be done, means what are the important things we need to copy first, and then what are the lateral, what are the things we need to consider has to be specified here. So after that, we need to consider all these things to be happen in a specific manner, that first memory has to be copied, and after that we need to take the things to be done by the host B. So that's about the migration. So the live migration. Likewise, we will have the memory migration also, files and the network resources migration also. So for memory migration, what we are doing, we need to take these memory things from physical host to another physical host or the virtual machine. How it is going to do is, it is going to use the method called the internet suspend resume method. So here we need to say, suspend the information, suspend the thing, and we need to specify the locality where you need to store. So the locality is a temporal locality, means only for particular amount of the time when when the amount of the time, means when the application has been processed, what it will do is the memory migration, the memory what it has been migrated will be suspended, means it won't be stay for a long time. What it has to do, it has to be specified that the locality what you are mentioning will be temporal only, not the that means a permanent one. So here the memory what you are being migrated will be uh, available with that host operating system for that particular amount of the time only. Means why, when this work is done, what it is doing is, it is allowing the system to suspend its memory space, and the host system will no longer able to access the that is the network, the memory space which has been that is migrated or which has been shared like that. So for that, we need to take that means what you how we are going to represent all these things, means we need to know what are the running and the suspended instances of your virtual machine, and also take to know that what are the catchings to be done, what are the transmissions to be done when you are processing all these things. So file system migration. In this, what you are doing, likewise, we are taking memory spaces into the migration. We are taking the whole file system to be available for the all the host. If you are making all these hosts to use your file system, what it has to do is nothing but there is no need to take, that is migrations or the mappings to be done like that. We need to no need to done all these things. So first, all the virtual machines has to map with the virtual disk here. So we are need to maintain a virtual disk to copy this virtual file, that is file system, which is the migrated one. So this migrated these things will be used by all this one. So any cluster want to maintain a virtual disk, it may appreciable because it allows an other user to place its complete file system onto that virtual disk, and it allows other users to access these file systems and have the data and also get the benefits of all these things too. So likewise, we need to maintaining means copying will be there. For example, if you don't have the enough, you don't have the data to process that application. What you have to do, you need to go for your friend and you need to copy into in your any hard disk or device, or and what you are doing, you are providing these things to available here, and you are coming to your device and you are copying, that is you are pasting all these things into your own system. So copy pasting will be there from one machine to another machine will be done. So if you are choosing a environment which is the shareable, for example, if you go for the Google Drive and if you are sharing the link, that is also appreciable, because if you are sharing the link means those persons we are having that link, we are able to access that data, means there is no need to install that information there. So if anybody wants to delete that one, you can restrict them also. There are the privileges also. The privileges which has been given by the main means the file system owner will have the privileges there. Means we won't have the modifying or anything. If you want to modify or the files, you can store your respective pages there. Means local file system will be there now. So you want to take the file and you want to make the changes and you want to store that one, you already have to, what it will do is it will allow the user and it will take the files, what it is doing will be copied and then make the changes, and it will allow the users to be stored these things into your respective places. So the concept, the means the copying concept what you are using here is the spatial locality one. What I specified is means named as a smart copying. Means here what you are doing is we are making the file system to be available based on the spatial locality. Means for example, you have been means you are working in an environment in your means in an organization. In an organization, you want to access your files at your home. It won't allow because the file accessing space will be means restricted for that space only. Means if you want to take these things to be available at any space, what it has to do is nothing but we need to add from where you want to access these files. You have to add the location there. Means this technique what it is doing is it is not means no fear, that is copy pasting is not done. So what it has to doing is it is giving the link also, but also providing another type of the copying technique. It is allocating the location to your that is file. So to access your file, you must need be in that location. Means either to has to be at the home, at the organization where it is. So these the another things what it is. That smart copying means what it is doing, it is having the spatial locality. The spatial locality means the spatial locality is we need to give the locality to be handled. Means we can suspend or the resume locations will be there. Means you don't want to give the access to that person on that location, you can resume the locations there. Means no longer you can access that one, and you can suspend that for no longer you can access that one from for a long time, resuming for some time only. So that is the smart copying. So network migration also, the migration means the network connections will be migrated here. So how it is going to be accessed means now we are seeing that in the MAC addresses and the next IP addresses will be there. And how it is going to migrated means by using the LAN, by using the destination LAN addresses and the destination any addresses, what it is doing, it is allowing the usage of these networks to be available with the others. And how it is going to allow here is, it is taking the two phases to be, two approaches to be done. So that is the pre-copy phase and the post-copy phase. So likewise, if you see in the previous examples, it has been done that the pre-copy phase is there. So here in this pre-copy phase, what you are doing here is, the first the total migration time, what you are doing will be very high when you are compared with the post-copy phase. So what it does here is a large amount of the data will be transmitted during the migration process. What it has to do is nothing but we need to take the whole time to be done. And also this migration is taking the useful pages and unuseful pages. There is the dirty pages also into an account. That's why it is taking multiple rounds to be done. Means in the previous examples also we have seen first round, second round, and the last round like that. So many rounds will be taken to process all these things. So like if you want to overcome like this, what you are doing is we need to take only the memory pages which are useful for you has to be transferred. So that will be done by the post copy. Not all that one, only useful for that process. Only the memory spaces what you are using for that process will be available for that one, has to be specified here, has to be done through this procedure what you are using. Pre-copy means all the memory pages will be processed. By that we are taking more time, and also more time means it is taking only milliseconds, but we are compared with the post copy, it is having only less time. So there is a possibility of creating another, means taking only the required one will make you to available all these things. So another one also is there, that is we need to make the checkpoint or the trace approach is there. What you are doing is we need to take the only the required amount of the time, means execution trace files what you are using has to be taken, and it has to be processed here. This could be done by the daemons what you are using. So that's it for class 1. In next class I will specify the what is specifications will be given, what is the live migration, and what are the dynamic deployments will be given. This is about your virtual clusters what you are using, and also how we are migrating your files into that one. Thank you.